Hey everyone, it's Susan Winter here. Thank you for joining me. I can already see wonderful people here. Bea and Gwyneth, thanks for being my amazing moderators. Today I'm talking about how to command respect naturally, with ease. Why is that important? Well, if you are out there dating or you have a partner, you need to know your worth and you need to know how to present yourself to allow that to be seen and felt, even subliminally. To have a sense of your own self-command is the way that you command others' respect. Doesn't mean you have to be a bully, doesn't mean you have to be hard or difficult, you don't have to be terrifying. That's a completely different thing. But to command respect is to be a person of integrity, alignment. These are things that we do in the development of ourselves and our own evolution. But all those things come to the forefront, especially when we're dating, because who we are, how we interact with another person, how we present ourselves, all of this is the initial package that somebody sees. And what makes for a compelling individual is the totality of this package. I'll talk about the external cues, and I'll talk about the internal cues and how to get there. First, let me say hi. Gwyneth, Bea, thank you. These two ladies are with me every single live event. They're fabulous. They are together in Germany. I'm reading how they're cooking meals and having dinner and keeping this a safe space for everybody. Jillian is on here. I had the opportunity to talk to Jillian over Zoom because of my upcoming group and signature program called How to Make Love Work for You. She's gorgeous. You know how you get an impression of somebody, like what color hair they have or whatever? Jillian's she's exotically beautiful. She's gorgeous. Oh, hi, Clue Channel. $5. Thank you so much for your contribution. I love this. This is so sweet, just right off the bat. So I really, really do appreciate it. And for those of you that want me to answer a specific question, if you put it in Super Chat, I will definitely see it. Otherwise, I'll catch the ones as catch can here. And thank you so much. But I just want to let you know, I see Gnarly Cat here. Now, the people that are members are colored in a certain color, like Tello here, that's green. And the little hearts, those are icons because they are, well, they're emojis, but they are members of this YouTube channel. And it's their way to, you know, just support me in my work. And so for that, I really enjoy everybody here. Barbara is here, a client, and is also in How to Make Love Work for You. She's in that course. I'm so excited about that. Hi, Celio and Nat and Greg and Paltry Flowers and Ann Parker and Slag. How are you doing? So thank you, everyone. Gnarly Cat, we do love you dearly because I have so many interactions with you, and that's on the Dating Games Guide. So let's talk today about how to have that sense of command and respect, but have it be natural. I mean, just have it like emanate from you so you don't have to actually work at it. Here's what I want to talk about. I'm going to begin with the externals. The internals are a little bit more interesting, but let's just start with the externals. Have you ever met somebody that has like, yeah, what are you doing? Are you going to be Friday? An upward inflection at the end of a sentence? That already negates that you know what you know. It's Thursday, and I'm doing this class, blah, blah, blah. Upward inflections are somehow doubting oneself. It could be a form of submissive politeness, but what we are trying to do is if you make a statement, we would like you to make a statement. And downward inflections are a little more powerful. There's a lot that happens in the first 5 minutes of meeting somebody. This whole thing about our first impressions and where does that come from? Oftentimes it comes from these very tiny subliminal things. Our posture, our eye contact, our language. Do we speak? And do we have the force of our voice supported by our diaphragm? Or are we, like this and mumbling because we don't think what we have to say is important? Mumblers, people who are super quiet, have learned through their family of origin to doubt what they're saying. They've been told for some reason or other it's not accurate. And so you will see that as you date them, and maybe you're one of them. Let me see what else is here. Barbara. Hi, Barbara. I'm just taking a look at everyone. And thank you so much, Clue Club. That was just so nice of you. Welcome to Friends. Oh my goodness. This is wonderful. I love this. This is fabulous. Okay. These are all the YouTube memberships. So a downward inflection, an end of a sentence. How about eye contact? I know people feel that's vulnerable. You don't have to stare at somebody on the street. But if you're talking to somebody, look them in the eye. And if they can't look you in the eye and you're having a first date or you're meeting them, there's something up there. I'm not saying that they're a bad person. I'm not saying that they've got an angle or an agenda. I'm just saying when somebody does not have the ability to make eye contact with you, they're not willing to be transparent. Okay? I understand that there's an entire generation of kids that have been looking in their iPhone. I have one that walks Nika. I don't think he's ever looked me in the eye yet. He has gotten to the point that he looks toward me and over toward the wall. And I don't think it's a learning disability. I think it's never had social interaction. Does great with my dog. Not as scary, you know. So the more you can up your direct eye contact, say what you need to say. It lacks fear. That kind of presentation, sitting upright, walking purposefully, instead of just rambling, hunched down, these things show, I want to say dominance, but they're really more confidence. So when you see somebody walk into a room, you can tell a lot by whether they take up the room energetically because they have command of it. Great professional speakers, certain politicians, actors have learned this like crazy. They take up the entire room. They're very good at this because they've learned how to use their energy to expand it outward. Now, I realize that everybody has a certain dispositional trait. There are people who are quite outgoing and love interacting. There are people who are introverted and only really start to come alive in the presence of a select few, smaller groups where they can interact. But eye contact when somebody is talking to you acknowledges that you're listening. Eye contact when you're meeting somebody, if you have a handshake, which I understand not everybody does that anymore, I actually do. I have a handshake and I look them right in the eye. If it's somebody I really like or I want to like, I do the double handshake. I learned that because years ago I was attending a conference with my father. I was very young. I was only 16, standing in a ball game. And I had to stand outside this entire presentation that he was giving. Literally hundreds of people shaking hands one after the next. And I got these gals with the big diamond rings and the big bracelets and just kind of flopped this wet hand and did like this. And then I'd have these wonderful men who took my hand and took theirs and put it on and said, "Hello, little girl, so nice to meet you." And it was just, looked me right in the eye and they were right there. Who do I remember today? I remember both as examples of what not to do and what to do to make a good impression. All of this implies self-command. And self-command commands respect. You with me so far? These are external cues. So as you're listening to this, just check yourself. Which ones do I work on? Am I good on all these? Could I, test a little bit more? Could I try a little bit more in this area, that area? Just ask yourself those questions as we progress. Now, the really important stuff, okay? B-Ray says, actually, it's not even liking it, but a matter processing. It's often not possible for them to make eye contact and speak at the same time. B must be talking about autism. This young man, I don't believe he's autistic, but I think that there are people that is certainly a case. And we have much more of this. Okay, Slag says, a challenge for me has been to completely let go of my daughter's mom. Okay, this is another issue. I'm so sorry about that. I'm afraid to not feel anything for her except the fact that she's my daughter's mom. even though I know she's moving on with someone else. Sorry for the detour. I thought it was in reference to this conversation. And so let me make this detour for you. This is, after all, for all of you. And I do realize that you'll have questions that have nothing to do with the conversation we're having here. How we frame a past lover, especially one that it's hard for us to watch them move on, is going to be difficult. But for your daughter's well-being and for your mental survival, I strongly suggest that you do reframe what that relationship was. It is hard to see the one that we want move on. Granted, not going to contest that. Not going to tell you shouldn't feel that way. But if there's anger, if there's resentment, you know who ends up paying for it? We do. Because you know what? They moved on. They're happy. We suffer from having those negative emotions. They hurt us. So however you have to construct this in your mind to say, we created this beautiful creature, my daughter, that may have been all we were put here to do, the two of us. That may have been our soul contract. Make this magnificent creature. And for that, I am complete. I am done. This is not the lover in my future. We are going our separate ways. She's made her choice. Let me now make mine. And to be grateful for that moment and the beautiful daughter. And that's it. You shared something. You know, life is moving more and more quickly as we evolve. And the cycles of relationships are intensifying, and some of them are becoming shorter, and some of them are beginning to be like this, where we go from one relationship to the next, or we have one long-standing relationship that goes through many evolutions and transformations as we sort it out. We must learn to frame our experiences in a way that help us. We all know those people that go into a loop. Oh my God, how many people have I had dinner with where they go into this bloody loop and they don't stop and they don't stop. And they're talking about something 40 years ago. It's like carrying a knapsack with all this stuff. So the more work we do to release it, listen, people do rotten things. This does not excuse them from doing rotten things. But, you know, it's bad enough that the sword impaled us once. We don't want to twist it and turn it around, okay? So however you have to reframe that for yourself, I hope that helps, Sled. And Clue, so glad that you're part of the Friends team. You're amazing. I learned a lot from your Younger Men, Older Women series. I love you. Thank you. Do you think I should make an Older Women, Younger Men like the dating games guide where you have quick access to every single topic and put in more material? It's funny because I kind of walked away from it. I'm like, okay, I've said everything. I was thinking of doing that with Retrieve so that if you have any question, like who pays, there it is. Plus I think this AI system might also allow me to include written material, articles that I've already written. Anyway, I will find out about that. Let's get back now to commanding respect. Let's talk about the internal awareness that you have to have. Do you all know your human rights as a person in this world? They supersede your dating rights. That's my phrase. You, as a human walking this earth, deserve polite, courteous, civil interaction and respect from others, just as you would give them. That is your natural right. So when somebody is not doing that, we notice that as being off. When you begin to know who you are, what you want, and I'm speaking now, this applies to everything, but I'm going to go back to the romantic funnel. When you know what you want in a relationship, and you know who you are going in, and you have mastered many of the skills, so many of you know here, how to express yourself, you know what you want. We've worked through all of this. You know what's okay, you know what isn't okay. You've got your sandwich language of, you know, when this happened, I felt this, and then it made me feel like that, and I would have preferred blah, blah, blah. You've got whatever you need to say. You've got all that down. Then, if they don't treat you with respect, the most respectful thing you can do is acknowledge this behavior that is less than desired, and you make the choice that either they improve, if they care to, they improve, and if they don't, you exit the situation. Let me see what's here. $10. Sarah McNeil, you are welcome, my dear. $10. Thank you so much. I do appreciate this. If you have a question, let us know. Sometimes you guys just do this to thank me, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Lynn, hello, Susan. Julian, yes. Okay, we've got here Vidu. Okay, hi, everyone. Yannick, Janik Jensen, €5.99. Your videos help me so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are so welcome. I am so grateful for this. I really worry what you hear from other people. Sometimes I put this girl, I've got this young lady who's coming into the first beta class that I have with everybody here for the How to Make Love Work for You. She's coming into the November 7th group. And I said to her, I will come get on a plane and drag you here if I have to, or sit you in front of a computer, because you terrify me being out in the world dating when you don't have your boundaries, what you want. You're like a little baby kitten walking through, the jungle, and you terrify me. So you have to learn this stuff. So I'm really always excited when I see stuff like that. So I know that had a point somewhere. Good God, this is too few hours of sleep and too much going on. Dating rights. Okay, you got to know your rights. Okay, what you want, what do you stand for? Like, what's okay, what isn't okay with you? I have to go over this again. In order to command respect, you don't have to be a dick. You don't have to be a rotten person. You don't have to be a bully. You don't have to be tough or hard, or that you don't approve of somebody, dismissive. You don't need to be any of those. That's all fear. That's the opposite. I know. Looks one way is completely the opposite. Commanding respect means that you have the wisdom to know who you are and how you should be treated, and you exhibit that by the way you treat others. And if they don't have that protocol, you either exit that group or that person, or you bring them up to speed if you're in partnership with them. And by the way, it's not just in dating. This is for people in existing relationships. Just because they love you doesn't mean they get to hurt you. I'd heard that one before. Well, we're family. Okay, doesn't mean you get to be horrible. What does that mean? You get a hall pass for being horrible because we're family? No, you don't. You don't get to be horrible. Not acceptable. It is about your bearing, your countenance. All of this is what commands respect. Oftentimes, respect is from not saying something. You can gain respect from not having an automatic reaction, but rather being in command of the timing and the space when you make a comment. If you don't know what to say, take a beat. If you think something's happening improperly, just get yourself together. But all of this is contingent upon you having a sense for yourself as to what is proper behavior. I do understand that in this unique time period, many of you out there in the dating world, online, going through these dating apps, you've had so much bad behavior, you probably don't even know what good behavior is when you see it. And when you see it, you're sure it's a con, because it's so different. But civil behavior is normal, okay? Abusive behavior is not. Disrespect is not normal. Let's see. This is a question from my sister. She wants, okay, Christy, I'm going to answer your sister's question. This is cute. Okay. How to know, how do you change your type, especially if they've not been good for you and you know you deserve better, but it makes you excited? Oh, okay. What you're talking about is the wild stallion as opposed to the hobby horse sitting in your stall. The eternal question in long-standing partnership is, how do you combine excitement with stability? How do you combine adventure, which is somewhat unpredictable and spontaneous, with safety, security, dependability, and consistency? Really difficult maneuver One, we don't ask for everything in our partner. That's completely unrealistic. You would need 3 partners. Really. You would need 3 partners to give you everything you want. One to be your absolute best friend, like your complete mental comrade, and you play and you giggle and you laugh together. One for phenomenal sex, exactly the way you want it. One to be the income breadwinner or the money manager, or manage the money you have, or take care of all the business in the family. Like, how many people would you need to make one? You got a human being. It's a huge ask. Huge ask. And this is why, good, go for your soulmate, but the resonance is on the inside. They can't be pug ugly. You got to be attracted to them. Let me get over that. So I know you're going to contest me on that, and you should. This is romance. If you want to get rid of being attracted to the ones that you know are bad for you, you have to you can say it. Your sister can say it. But why can't she put the two together and really understand it? Like, go here, bad. Like him, hurt. Like him, hurt. Hot, hurt. Player, hurt. There's a disconnect. Oh, I'm excited. Oh, I'm going to go big. Okay, tell her, make peace with herself. Go get hurt, just get better at getting up. Because evidently you like to be hurt. If you can handle it, do it. Look for somebody exciting in a different way, not exciting because they make you scared shitless and you don't know where you stand. That's not excitement. Look for somebody that ignites your mind and makes you think things you hadn't thought, expands your consciousness, or loves the kind of art you do, or understands what you're doing in the poetry that you write. Somebody that honors you and gets a part of you that nobody else gets. That's exciting. Not wondering if they're going to call you or text you. That game gets very boring. Just let her play it out. Time will tell. That'll be very, very boring for her. Clue Channel, dating apps are horrible for men. True enough. They would even be bad for dogs and bunnies and ladies. They're bad for everybody. Katya, hello, my dear. Oh, this is one of my clients. Oh, my goodness, Katya. I see demanding respect more as observing and responding accordingly. Beautiful. Beautiful. It doesn't have to be tough. Hi, Carlos. Oh, I recognize this name. Welcome from Madrid. Hola. Hola. Okay, let's see. Love the horse analogy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Christy, just tell her she can get what she's getting or she can try something different. Happy just to be listening to you, always learning something new when I do. Thank you, Swirling Star. Okay. A friend and sex partner combination is doable, I think. Okay, yeah. So, you know what I learned? There was this guy speaking in adult alcohol. Oh, this is so long ago, you guys. This was audio tapes. Many of you will have to look up that word. What's a tape cassette? Yeah, go ahead. Look it up. Ask Wikipedia. They don't even know. So I remembered listening to this guy named Terry Gorski. Had all these tapes for adult children of alcoholics. Evidently, that makes a certain mark on you too. And he used this term. And it's so beautiful. So if you hear me say it, Terry, thank you. I don't know who he got it from. A sexy best friend. That's your match. A sexy best friend. So we got sexy or we got friend. But we need to get sexy best friend. Okay? Let's see, masochists. Let me see. Hot is exciting. Come on. But when there comes a time, the freedom moment is when you look at that person and you recognize who they are. And it's clear. Okay? And then you already know what that ride is going to be. You don't have to get on it. At this point, you know the ride exactly. Yeah? A couple days of incredible lovemaking. The first time's normally the best. They just knock it out of the ballpark because that's the big thing to get you in the gate. And then a little bit more, and then after about the 4th time, they're going to have to fade because now they're kind of caught you. Now they have to create the tension. Now they need to expand their stable. They don't want you to get too close. Now they can now they can create obsession. Just at the time that you're starting to think this is going somewhere, they're going to pull away. when you finally know all the dance steps in the future, it's like, oh, dude, I've seen this one before. Or lady, I've seen this one before. Oh, I so know where you're going next. And that's why the dating games guide is super, because you know where they're going next. It's like, okay. So when you know the end of the story, you don't even need to go through the whole experience, right? Okay, what else? Susan, I love your way of phrasing things. Thank you. Quick to the point and effective. Insia. And I love the fact that I'm starting to know all these names. This is fabulous. I'm 42. I had a lot of tapes. I used to make a cassette with all my favorite songs and give them to the boy I was in love with. Yeah, Mai. Okay, it's either Mal or Mai. I think it's Mai. Okay, so do you understand that real sovereignty is when I say know your worth? Okay, that's going to sound like a lot. I don't want you all to think this is like self-love, like, oh God, what is self-love? This is so big. It's a mountain I can't climb. Knowing your worth can seem a little pretentious to one, especially if you're super humble. It can be like, oh, that's like what Donna does, and she's such a bitch. And Donna's like, kind of like, oh, I know my worth. He's all over me, and I know what I'm worth. So I know you don't want to do that, right? So for those of you that are humble and probably very organic and natural and integrated, this may be poorly displayed in your experience of it from the outside world. So let us imagine, what would true sovereignty and command look like? It would be relaxed. It would be easy. It would appear effortless. It would be warm. It would be self-assured. Probably a little bit humorous at times. And if you even have the confidence to do that, slightly self-effacing in the right occasions. So powerful that you can afford to make fun of yourself and still know you're in command. So commanding respect is an integration of how you feel about yourself as you start to put all the chips together. Who you are, what you stand for, what you value. There are going to be times that we fall short of our own expectations and our goals. We all do. And I think we all have ideas of, I'll be okay when. Like, I'll love myself a lot better if I could just lose that 10 pounds. I'd like myself a lot better if I had a six-pack. I'd like myself a lot better if I made $1 million a year. Or I'd like myself a lot better if I married somebody who made $1 billion, or something like that. But as we go to wherever we think our goals are, that we think we need to have a fairly honest appraisal of ourselves and just know, I'd like to start with the most basic. And the way I've learned to like myself is that I've learned to agree with my choices. I've made some unusual choices that kicked me into this profession. I was busy playing golf and like hanging out in this gorgeous home that I built. And I just desperate for purpose. Knew I wasn't done, didn't know where to go. Just knew it wasn't done. Knew I hadn't hit my mark, knew I didn't achieve what I wanted, knew I had more inside me, didn't know where to go and how to put it out there. And I think when you find that place in yourself where you've gone in a really bizarre way, but you're like, but this is real for me, and you can get behind that, then it starts to matter a little bit less how people see you. Would you like everybody to like you and approve of you? Of course you would. But when you start to agree with yourself, I think that was my key to finally stopping looking at everybody else and just being okay. Because I made some very big, strong decisions that upset the world. Not just my community, like the world. So at some point, when everybody's attacking you, you learn to get on board with yourself. And why? Well, for me, it was noble. I had a cause. So if you can find a through line that you believe in, like I believe in saving the planet, or I believe in something or other, I believe in that dogs have rights, or, I believe that love should know no boundaries. Two consenting adults I don't care the color, the gender, the age, all that stuff doesn't matter. You know, I wasn't going to give up love. So maybe that's how you learn it for yourself. Maybe you fight for a project that you feel is really valuable. Maybe you discover your power through what you love, your music or your art or nature. Maybe you can bring other people and show them that too. But all of these things go into the recipe of who we are. And it shows up when you are in alignment, because as you learn who you are and what you stand for, that kind of gets solidified, and people feel that you have substance. Substance as a person commands respect automatically. We've all met those people that are kind of like a, how do I say, it's like they're almost like a hologram or something. They're like the Instagram girls with all the paint stuff that makes them all look the same, and they're flawless, and they're all like super skinny, and they're all 7-figure, and they're like, but there's kind of like nothing there. It's like all the stuff with nothing. And so you kind of, when you meet them, you're like, I'm so disappointed. I wanted there to be something there. It's just like, whew, smoke and mirrors. I'm like, where's the stuff? Where's the beef? So anyway, enough of that. I'm now here to answer your questions. Let's see, did I tell you everything else? Oh, the red flags in relationships. For anybody who wants a relationship, ladies, if you're online, you get a dick pic, that is not okay. Unless that's what you want. Unless you're comparing and you're choosing what you want for the evening, that's fine. That's your menu. That's okay. I have a friend that did that. Ruthless, also married 3 decades, and that was her thing. So I was like, wow, okay, very clear, very obvious. But if somebody does that to you, or they do something offensive, or they say something not right, you can say, you've misread me, not where I'm going. And you just click off. Just say, I'm so sorry that you've misread me. You have to do it with somebody else, not me. Okay, now I'm here for you. Talk, I answer. Thank you, Susan. You're a class act. Thank you. Word Central. Word. Okay, your Donna impression. Love it when you know the end. The book is not that interesting. Yeah. How can you command respect when you're trying to communicate and the other person is being passive aggressive and says, for example, okay, if you want, in order to avoid an argument? Boy, Nat, okay. Okay, this is like a comprehension test on a quick SAT. Let's see. I don't know what you're trying to communicate. The person is acquiescing under duress. So the first thing I do is that they're acquiescing. And I'd say, oh, wait, I'm going to say it's a lover. Let's say it's a lover. Say, babe, listen, it's us. Talk to me. This is both of us. I'm presenting this. I need to hear what you want. I don't want you to go, oh, whatever, and then you be upset. This is us. We're in this together. So tell me what you want. Then you got to do the table method. Very sophisticated Susan language, the table method. Put it on the table. This is also very so non-scientific, but it probably is on some level. You negotiate with your partner. This is where we have to use our business skills. You negotiate with your partner and say, I really wanted that ski trip. Okay? You hate the snow and you want to go to Bermuda, but I have skin cancer concerns. So you want to pick North Carolina? What can we do in the meantime? Help me here. What's a good in between for us? What would be fabulous? Do we go to Disney World? You tell me. What do you want? A spa vacation at the Ritz-Carlton. A staycation where we just order room service and play and watch TV and do whatever. So your partner here has kind of boxed you into a corner because okay, if you want, doesn't give you anywhere to go with conflict resolution. And that's what I'm concerned about. If a couple can't get to conflict resolution, you're going to build resentment. Why do we not like resentment? Because the sex stops. boom, you heard it. The sex stops. You all know that. What happened in my relationship? Did it go sour? Nope. Did you stop loving each other? Nope. People started having resentments, and the resentments build and they build and they build and they build. And what happens is they block the energy of flow. They block the desire, the flow, the expression, because they're like, I gave, you didn't get it. I've done too much. I'm resenting it. You didn't listen. You didn't take me where I wanted to go. You drove the car too fast. I don't know. I told you not to park there. Whatever it is. I have to do the laundry. You said you'd help me. Whatever. Okay? We want to get rid of resentment so that we have a great sex life. Okay? So we're always trying to work on that. Let's see. So I'm going to answer something Gunter said. The reality of what I say is what is happening in the real world. Not all women get dick pics, but many women do. On Tinder and sites like that, some people... Now, Tinder's a weird thing. Tinder in some parts of Europe is a perfectly normal dating app, and it's kind of come to be understood in the US as kind of like a hookup app. And for people that want to hook up, that's great. I'm not saying all people do this. It could be an offensive comment. But whenever you feel offended and you feel that somebody has taken your information and gone in a direction that you're not comfortable with, whatever that may be, you need to reroute it. If it's a very low bar of expectation and an exceedingly low bar of knowledge of each other, like it's just a casual chat online, you can just block them, because obviously what they're accustomed to is not where you're going. I don't want anybody asking me intense questions about what I like sexually when I haven't even had a conversation with them. For me, I don't like that. But it also is kind of rerouting somebody in that I'm looking for a relationship. I am looking to develop something with you. All of that comes later. It doesn't come first in my world. That's how I'm built. So I know that. So I'm very confident with that choice. That's my choice. That's how I proceed to be clear and to be in alignment with what I want. So another thing is alignment when we're dating. People, and I'm not saying that you have to wear clothes up to here and you have to be like, oh, I want a relationship. I'm not saying that, but you have to be in alignment that what we say we want and how we act is in alignment. You can be fun, you can be ballsy, you can be casual, you can be all sorts of wonderful things, but how our speaking and our thoughts and our actions all have to be in alignment. So you can't go out and talk about what an ethical person you are and do something like really horrible, like try to beat the check and leave the restaurant, because it's just not in alignment. So this is where we lose people's respect and we lose our own, our own standing within ourselves. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Resentments comment was spot on. Lost all attraction for my partner. I know. Agreed. Kelly Foster, no such thing is too busy when a man really wants something. Agreed. Okay. When men really want something, they will move heaven and earth to make time. I agree, because I work with men. And listen, I love men. I love men. I really dislike this whole, slicing and dicing that this group is okay and that group's not okay, and we hate men or we hate women. And I got a lot of those MGTOW guys and those red pill guys that do nothing but try to take my videos, and horrible. But you know what? I think it's better to know how to handle yourself than it is to destroy others. If I can handle myself and make choices that are correct for my dating needs, I don't need to spend a 2-hour show destroying another group of people that terrify me because I can't really control them. So, Let's see. Okay. Hi, Susan. You missed my comment above. Kelly, let's see. Thank you. It sucks as I really like him, but you're right. It's just he's in pro basketball trials, so I was trying to give him time. Okay. So Kelly, there might have been more here. Oh, met a man on Bumble. He messages me on Instagram sporadically. He's never called. It's not progressing because he's so busy with work. He's just moved to my country. Should I be patient? Um, let's see. What incentive has he given you to be interested so far? What has he actually done? You met on Bumble. He messages you sporadically. So he's not really available. Maybe for anybody. Maybe, definitely not for you. Okay? That's all you know right now. Are you that interested in somebody who's not available? It is true. He could be in the middle of doing something, but why is he even responding at all if he knows he can't follow through? So that's window shopping. Not saying he's not a good guy, and maybe he's going to be great later, and maybe this is just what he's doing now, but it sounds like he was free one night or one afternoon. He's just scrolling through and he's window shopping. He's like, oh, she's cute. Hey, hi. It doesn't mean I'm going to do anything about it. So this is where we have to look at the arc of, the continuance. Do they follow up, as so many people are saying here? What's the action that follows it up? Hey, no, so the excuse is, I'm really busy. I'm in basketball tryouts. I just moved here. Got it. Do you really want that? Is he a high status guy and you think this is really cool and you're going to try and hang in there? Basketball stars, you and everybody else. Tough field. Got a lot of women to fight through. They love being the girls attached to the guys that have some kind of status or, fame. So if you're looking for a stable life mate candidate, I would definitely stay away from rock stars, movie stars, sports celebrities, billionaire businessmen with a cocky attitude and a history of only dating models. I mean, this is just heavy going. I think I'd look for somebody who's available. I'd forget about him and move on to somebody else. And by the mere fact that you forget about him, he may start to find you interesting. Anyway, let's see what else. Okay. He talks about things we could do in the future once he's secured his contract. But I don't ever think he's going to have time. I feel like it's breadcrumbing. When's his contract? Is that a year from now? Just keep moving. Say, I'll talk to you when you get your contract. That's what I would do. I'd get rid of the mental anxiety. Say, sound like a great guy. Really love to get to know you. Know you don't have time. When you get your contract, shoot me a message. And then you go on, okay? I wouldn't believe anything he says to you. Okay, Yannick. So how do I let go of someone I was in a very long toxic relationship? I know it wasn't good for me, but I still cannot let go and move on. This is about the ex-wife, yeah? Sometimes you just have to make yourself move on. I mean, why are you hanging on to something way past the time? It only hurts you. You have to really logic it out. What you love is that moment in time that you've snapshot and framed. Believe me, someplace in your mind. You got to find that snapshot. You got to look at it. You got to thank it. Maybe it was the family with the baby there. Maybe it was the loving way she looked at you. Maybe it was the way she held you in her arms when you were first together. It's who she was. It's who you were. It's who you were as a couple then. This is the thing we cling on to. And Barbara, I know you know this because I know you're working on this. It's true. It's valid. Most people try to destroy that moment to get rid of the person. I've known people that have burned every picture. I had to. It was too gorgeous. Oh, God, it was so good. Stood in the fireplace, went, threw his pictures in every picture I had. Yep, had to. Stuff like that. You choose to move on because it's best for you. And you honor what was, and you accept that life keeps moving. It's the end of that, but it's this, we put it on a pedestal and we're like, oh my God, it's the biggest moment of my life. And it's the, I'll never meet another one. I'll never experience love again. No one will ever touch me the way they do. No one will ever resonate with me. I'll never have these feelings again. You forget that you own the feelings. You really need to listen to Breakup Triage. Do you think I'm trying to sell you something? It's free on Audible. Free if you have a subscription. If not, $2. But you got to listen to it. It'll really, really, really help you. And everybody knows that has listened to it already. You know that. Okay. Let's see here. I'm sorry you've been going through that. Okay, good. You're all talking to each other. I'm a picture burner. Out of sight, out of mind. I had to. He was so beautiful. I guess I cannot cure mental illness. Oh my goodness. Couldn't figure out why the relationship wasn't working well until he was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic. I kept thinking, why is he so sweet one morning and horrible and the next I didn't know what was going on? I'm like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Okay, everyone, do you have any more questions? If not, I'm going to start to wrap this up. Tell me, what is your burning desire? Thank you, Insia. Pay for Breakup Triage if you have to. It's worth it. I love this. Essentially, I'm not finding quality women, and the ones above 30-ish in my age range aren't worth it. Too jaded. Do I go to local colleges? There are quality people of every gender. I promise you. Let's look at a couple. Sometimes it's just basic stuff. Where are you? Do you have a large enough dating pool? Where do you go to meet people? Are you always in sports bars? People drinking? I mean, do you go to church? I mean, that's okay. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe do a spiritual church. Like, where do you meet people? So I would turn it around. Where do I meet people like me? If I'm going out someplace with people, where would I be today? You haven't found your tribe of people yet, because the tribe of people that you're looking for think like you, act like you, and value the things that you do. So perhaps it's in a photography class, or it's in a, I don't know, drumming for fun. I don't know what it is. But your thing, it feels to me like the pool you've been fishing in is just too small, and the subcategory you're getting is unique in the fact that it's similar. So sometimes it's as simple as looking in another place. I worked with somebody this morning. I was trying to qualify him for the invitation to the How to Make Love Work for You program. And I knew in the first 5 minutes he had a lot of catching up to do, and I really wanted to help him. But I realized he was so far behind the curve. He'd never dated. He didn't know how to talk. He could barely talk to me. And I realized that he had no dating pool, none. And the few women that he tried to approach and message on a dating site, he had no conversational skills. There's so much rudimentary to start with somebody who's never even had an experience barely talking to a woman and works from home or in a company that, like many of you nowadays, you're supposed to go to work, but there's nobody there. There are like 3 people in the office in different cubicles. That's it. So like this poor fellow didn't have any opportunity to practice or meet an extended group of people. And sometimes it's just the people. I know individuals who've had to move from where they were living. Not because it was a bad place. It's just it didn't have people that they could connect with. Each city and town has its own vibration. Some are very exciting and dynamic. Others are very laid back. Some are all health and outdoorsy and holistic and all that stuff. Every place has its vibe. And maybe the places you're going in the place you live don't have the vibe that supports you. These, oftentimes it's not us. It's like these really silly little functional things are off. Okay? How do I make men respect me? Listen to the first part of the show. We went over most all of it. start to respect certain things about yourself, and it'll come through naturally. Keep in mind that it could truly be them and not you. Okay, so Barbara and I, I'm going to do this video. I'm going to tell you all now. It's called "It's Not You, It's Them." I'm convinced that for the majority of you, almost all of you that are on here, you are drawn to this site. A couple of you had nothing to do. You locked on a live show. But most of you know what the message is. You know, and you're in agreement and in harmony, and you already have sufficient inner work done. You have a spiritual and psychological and practical overview of who you are, what you want, what you stand for, what you're trying to create. You've had experience in relationships. You've won some, you've lost some, you've had some just fade away. This is a very specific group of people. This is not rudimentary. So this is more for like polishing up to get it kind of just absolutely in the best state possible, okay? You're all very well educated on how to be a partner and how to be good to yourself at this point. So this is what I absolutely love. I met a young, decent, educated boy at the airport. Ooh, I love this because I don't cut to his whole story. We exchanged Insta and started chatting. Next to his communication became perverse. I saw it as immaturity, 22 years old. Is it normal among them? 22 is, like, remember, to him, you could be, you're a couple years older, but you could be like the goddess, Not everybody's sophisticated at 22. And I mean sophisticated in the ways of the world, communication skills. What do we talk about so often here? Presentation skills. He's young. If you like him and you thought he was cute and you want to keep in contact, you know how to develop and see what is there. Make it easier for him. Start conversations that he can participate in. Ask him questions about himself. Got nothing to lose. I'm glad that you found somebody interesting. We've been through a couple people here. Okay. Let's see. I was bored and needed some perspective. Okay. There you go. All right. That's why you're here. Okay. I think baby Jesus. Okay, everyone. Let's see. Okay. All right, everyone. Listen, thank you very much for today. I do appreciate everything that you have written, and I just want to be very clear that a command over yourself and sovereignty and commanding respect is an inside job with a little bit of outside accompaniment. Acting as if sometimes is a way to get you there. Sometimes I knew when I was doing a period piece that when I put on the costume of the character, because remember I was an opera singer, they're like 40 pounds heavy, I put on the character and the wig and all that, and I became a different person. So maybe start with the little externals. Start with standing a little bit straighter, walking purposefully. When you meet somebody, look them in the eye, acknowledge them. Speak directly to somebody. Things like this, they may help you feel more confident. I know I used to have a trick. I prefer to do these things standing up, actually. I'm much more animated standing up. Sitting down kind of takes away my energy, but I haven't found the right thing that lifts up the laptop and gives me enough room for water and notes and things like that. But at any rate, when I used to have a difficult conversation on the phone, I would make sure I stood up so that I had my full power with me. So play around with the little things. I have a feeling most all of you are very close to where you want to be. Play around with the little things that give you strength and make you feel connected to yourself, okay? Let me tell you quickly before I get off, I want to remind you all that the How to Make Love Work for You is my signature program. I will be moving into a group practice fully as of January. I will still have individuals, meaning you're going to see a change in my website. I will still be able to work with you one-on-one for 1 hour, or if you come to New York, or you send me to your city, or you meet me someplace else, I will have the day with Susan. I just had a client fly in from Montreal and spent 5 hours with me. Love it in New York because I can take her to Core Club and it's this gorgeous location. So I felt very happy taking her to lunch and working with her. But 5 hours is a long session. It's a long session. So take a look at the link below on How to Make Love Work for You. I'm starting my new group in January. That will be 1 p.m. Tuesdays and noon Eastern on Saturdays. I realize that some of you work 9 to 5. For that reason, I put you mostly in my first group, which starts November 7th, which is the evening time. The only time I'll ever teach at evening. That's 7 p.m. Eastern and noon on Saturdays. This is a 5-week course. I work with you 60 to 90 minutes, very small groups. It's in between coaching and delivering information on personal empowerment, communication skills, how to speak man. Barbara's in the class. I'm so excited. Several of you are. I'm really excited about talking about empowerment, getting over the fear of loving. That has to be there. Developing great communication skills and knowing your a la carte design. What I want to create in partnership, not just I want someone to love me, how I want it to look, feel, and function. Doing all of this work in advance really allows you to step into ease into any kind of communication that you have online or with a prospective partner or with the partner you have. It's not just for people who are about to date, it's for people who are in a relationship and also want to clarify, allow their relationship to grow and expand. People that are having issues with their partner that are not getting settled, that need better communication styles. I have a gal in there that does the circular thing, where after 20 minutes, I'm like, what are we talking about? Because if I were your boyfriend, I'd be nuts right now. I don't know what to do. So we're teaching her how to speak man. That stereotypical, non-PC, how to have bullet points clear. I feel this, I want that. Take them and make them very sophisticated and applicable specifically to the language of your partner. So there's a lot of Susan stuff in there that's never been relayed anywhere else. So I'm hoping you take a look at that. Everyone, thank you so much. B, Gwyneth, Jillian popped in and out, Gnarly Cat, Barbara. Let's see who else is in here. The lovely people that have been giving me wonderful commentary here. Insignia, love Gnarly Cat, love Katya, all of my YouTube members. Let's see who else was in here. Let's see, the Clue channel. All of you, thank you so much for your contribution. Sarah McNeil, thank you. Janik Jensen, I hope I'm saying that properly. If I'm not, forgive me. And thank you all for your time. Massive love to all of you. Walk in confidence, know who you are, and it will resonate to the outer world. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.